considering, or when you, more specifically, are considering what to do with our general funds and plans going forward, we would appreciate to have a seat at the table to give you the perspective of what our students need and what our teachers need. And right now, what they need is more support in the classroom with staffing. We need more special education jobs are unfulfilled. We need more paras. We have a unique circumstance right now, as all school districts do, especially in the TK through second grade, with a lot of behaviors, a lot of trauma, a lot of need. And the solution to that is more hands, more people, a lower student to teacher ratio. So there's other ways to put Bonsall on the map other than having a bright, shiny new school. We could be very competitive if we were a lower class size ratio, and that would solve all data. Dr. Ghali can attest. All research supports that the smaller the class size, the better the educational outcome. So this is what our quest for you to consider is to consider staffing as a priority right now, and we'll deal with the buildings when we can deal with the buildings. Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have someone here from CSEA? And no substitute speaker on their behalf. Okay. We are missing them today. And that brings us to our management reports. Thank you again for all of those that are already on the agenda online. It's always a pleasure to read through those and see all the pictures that are included. Thank you for that. And we have today, who is our lineup first on the presentations? Drum roll. All right, Sullivan Middle School, Ms. Angie James.
Okay. All right. Okay, good evening, board, Interim Superintendent Dr. Ghali and Mrs. McInerney. We are doing some exciting things at Sullivan Middle, and I want to start out with some of my favorite pictures that I feel capture the Sullivan Middle School experience and what it means to be a Wildcat. So as you can see, the staff surprised our students by dressing up as the 101 Dalmatians. Of course, I was, I guess, unanimously nominated to be Cruella de Vil. And I guess it worked so well, many of the students didn't even recognize who I was. So that was pretty fun. So in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see we had a really great time with the playoffs for the Dodgers and Padres. And the reason I bring it up is most of our students, of course, Padre fans, but I do have to say all the staff got involved, and it made it for a very fun and interesting week. So I do appreciate that. And as you can see, he was holding a can of Padre tears there. So that's it. Yeah, the kids loved it. Let me pull this next. Okay. So some of the highlights we have, if you can take a look, our students, our amazing 6th grade team organized the annual Civilizations Day, early Civ Day, on Friday, October 25th. We had many parent volunteers and staff who helped make this a huge success. Students could participate in real activities that simulated the activities early civilizations, such as crossing the Nile River, navigating a board to the next wood block over the blue tarp or the Nile with Mrs. Breckenridge. Next, we had cave painting and storytelling as Mrs. Janikowski tells the stories of early man. The students pretended to hunt, which involved Mr. Prechtel rolling the ball, hunted animal, across the gym while the students threw tennis balls or arrows at the basketball. The winner received meat to take back to their people, or beef jerky, right? The students participated in crafts and beading conducted by Mrs. Ledry. And finally, the students made bricks from mud and other materials at home to bring in for the brick test conducted by Mr. Brinker and Mrs. Lopez. Good times and learning was had by all. If you take a look at the top, we also have a Veterans Day letter. Each year, Mrs. Janikowski and Sullivan Middle School participates in a letter writing contest for our veterans, thanking our men and women for their service to our country. The letters are read by many committee members made up of community members and Sullivan staff. This year, we'd like to congratulate Sage Brewer, whose heartfelt letter won the hearts of us all. Our Wildcats finished up their writing assessments in language arts and are currently completing their student portfolios. Each Wildcat reflects on their strengths and growth areas in each subject area and shares this information with their families. We ask the families for feedback in a survey they complete as proof of their students' presentation. We also had an exciting Halloween dance that included a haunted house, laser tag, games, face painting, trick-or-treating, and of course dancing. This was our biggest event yet, with over 300 students participating. I would also like to give a shout out to Mr. Davis, who taught our 8th grade Wildcats about the election process, candidates, local measures, and propositions. They were able to vote on election day, and the results were shared with each class. They even got their very own I voted sticker. Mrs. Gressbrink hosted a college week with activities and lessons during our advisory lunchtime during that week of college week. For our staff, Sullivan's leadership team has been conducting leadership walks on our campus in the classrooms and hosting our district leadership and learning walks to witness the magic of middle school and our amazing teachers. Our language arts department and math departments have been able to collaborate about assessments and best practices during the release days over the past 2 months. We are very grateful at Sullivan, especially for the generous awards from the California Retired Teachers Association and who awarded a scholarship to Mr. Donnellan and a legacy check to Mrs. Pecor from one of our very own community members, Mr. Frandell. We are very truly grateful. Lastly, our staff will be receiving their thank you bags or gratitude bags with gratitude notes from other staff members this Friday. For our families, over the past couple months, our families have had many engagement opportunities. Wednesday, October 23rd, Bonsall and Sullivan High School hosted our 3rd annual Culture Night. The focus was on our students who presented their research projects on famous people and practiced their Spanish while teaching families about the different entertainers and influential people. We also had many students who represented the cultural dances of many other regions. And thank you to Mr. Mancias for the Ballet Folklorico and other dancers for Sullivan. Thank you to Mrs. Cortez Rojo and Mr. Henchcliffe for organizing our high school Ballet Folklorico dancers and other performers. Also, thank you to Mrs. Cortez Rojo, Mr. Henchcliffe, and Mrs. Pettyjohn for organizing the student projects and student presentations for our Culture Night. Lastly, we want to thank Mrs. Leonor Rodriguez for organizing our community organization and parent presentations and always taking our amazing pictures. Sullivan has also hosted a monthly Lunch on the Lawn, which has turned into a lunch on the campus because we ran out of front of the lawn. I'm excited to announce that we have not just parents, but all family members have been joining us to enjoy lunch with our Wildcats. It has been a great opportunity to meet our wonderful parents and community. And lastly, our amazing PTO has been hard at work with fundraising from Plume and Brew and Seas Candy this month, with many items being able to be purchased for our staff. And for our last slide, I would like to thank Trustee Ortega and Dr. Gali for spending half their day at Sullivan in the morning, walking our classroom and spending time with our Wildcats. I would also like to thank Dr. Gali for inviting our middle school and high school students to the Superintendent Advisory Council and for collaborating with our students about our schools in our district. So if you take a look up here, I did highlight the last bottom half because it is Mrs. Pecor has been very hard at work with all the events that we have planned, but we do have boys basketball and girls soccer tryouts this week. We are super excited about our Indigenous Day events that are happening tomorrow and Friday. We have our Thanksgiving break next week. Also, our Bonsall Education Foundation, the Poinsettia Sale from November 4th to the 27th. November 4th, Roar Awards, 11th, the ELAC meeting, and then all of the events for Mrs. Pecor. And the students are going to be very busy. We're going to be singing for the Fallbrook Women's Club, the Sullivan Music Program that's hosted over at Paul Administration Building. Sullivan Show Choir will be at the Fallbrook Christmas Parade, so please join us and wave at us there. Wednesday Show Choir sings at the Sheriff's Station for the holiday luncheon, and we also have our very own winter performance on December 17th. And lastly, we have our finals for the last week of December. So Sullivan is truly on fire, and we are doing all the amazing things and look forward to wrapping up our semester. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. James. And now we have Mr. Smuts from Bonsall High School.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Interim Superintendent Dr. Gawley, and Ms. Gina, and to the community tonight. It is again my honor to present an update of the many amazing things happening at Bonsall High School currently. Before moving on from the title slide, I want to highlight the round image in the top left corner of the schoolhouse and tree. This image shows the 6 learner outcomes developed by our district and embraced by our Bonsall High School staff. It is our purpose to cultivate students who excel at being resilient learners, empathetic collaborators, engaged community members, effective communicators, critical thinkers, and problem solvers. And there's another few great images of where this work happens and the amazing Bonsall High School staff who are carrying out this work day in and day out. Just to look at some highlights from the last 2 months demonstrating how we are cultivating these learner outcomes in our students. Our juniors took the PSAT on October 11th. Also on the 11th, we had our staff versus student flag football game to cap off college week. The staff had a resounding win, although did not recover nearly as quickly as the students. Our homecoming dance on October 19th was so great it made the village news. We had our Hispanic Cultural Night on October 23rd, and our Bonsall High School car show on the 26th. It was our largest car show yet. On October 29th, students participated in a field trip to San Diego State University. And on November 6th, our instructional leadership team participated in a powerful instructional practices walk. We had 4 teachers took time out of their own classroom to walk through their colleagues' classes and observe powerful instructional practices and their impact on student engagement and learning. On the 7th, some students visited the Native American Studies program at Cal State University San Marcos. Also on the 7th, we held our winter sports parent night because basketball and soccer teams are in their first games of the season tonight. On the 15th, San Diego State University Native Resource Center staff came and shared their program with our Native students. Just last Monday, we had our annual staff chili cook-off. Shout out to Margaret Armijo's pork chili verde with the win. On November 13th at the Community Center, and then yesterday at Paula, Erin Barker held her Pathways to Success presentations for the Bonsall High School community. And they covered post-high school pathways, student timelines, financial aid overview, and college and career prep and planning. Some upcoming events to note. To celebrate Native American Heritage Month, our Indian Council has planned events for tomorrow and Friday before we go on Thanksgiving break. Our students will be taking their mid-year STAR assessments in math and reading in December. On December 7th, our ASB class is again entering a float in the Fallbrook Christmas Parade, and we're encouraging all teams and clubs to participate in walking the parade with us. On December 12th, we will have our first ever Bonsall High School Battle Bots competition. Thanks to Mr. Schwartzwald and his advanced product and design CTE class. There will be student-created robots and even a staff-created robot participating in the arena. On December 14th, the Bonsall High School Theater Company play performance opens, and coming all too quickly, our first semester concludes with 3 days of finals starting on December 18th. As you can see, it's an exciting time to be a part of the Legion. There is so much to share about Bonsall High School. I know Nani will be sharing more from her experience and perspective, and Mr. Van Hoosier is here tonight to share some information about the awesome development of our symposium program. Thank you all for your support and leadership for our school and our students. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a quick question for you. I think it was the last meeting, there was a picture of you in your office, and behind you was a Missouri Tiger thermos or something. Is there any association between you and Missouri Tigers?
Well, I've sent some money there because I have a son who went there.
Okay, because I went there, so I was just wondering.
really?
I don't see that very often, so I had to ask.
This might be breaking agenda, but yeah, my son went there and played wheelchair basketball for the University of
on.
Missouri. So go Tigers. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smuts. And Bonsall Virtual Academy, Ms. Calabrese.
Oh, thank you. Haven't even spoken yet. Oh, thank you. Goodness, I feel the love. All right. Good evening, esteemed board members, Dr. Golly, and audience. Thank you for the opportunity to share the amazing things that are happening and occurring at Bonsall Virtual Academy and the Adult Transition Program. Our enrollment continues to increase. We've grown by 16% since our last board meeting. In September, our students attended an in-person career day with our grounds and maintenance crew in addition to child nutrition services. Both were very well attended. Since the beginning of September, we've had students attending twice-a-month interventions for math with Ms. Presswood and Ms. Brininger, and twice-a-month interventions for writing with our college tutor, Emma Ferreira. We also have reading and writing intervention with Ms. Brininger. The interventions have been hugely instrumental in increasing our students' understanding of their core concepts and has improved the writing assessments and assignments that have been turned in. One of our students shared how much the writing intervention has helped with her daily assignments. A huge shout out to Jolie Kennedy. She's here in the bottom left-hand corner. She is one of our superstar high school seniors, and she placed 4th in a county-wide November 9th speech and debate tournament for dramatic interpretation. You're going to have to wait until the next board meeting to hear her present her speech. We are very proud of her hard work. She's a very motivated, dedicated student who's taking 2 Palomar classes this semester, Anatomy and Physiology and Math 110, while balancing her senior classes with a 3.66 GPA. Way to go, Jolie. Super proud of you. Our students have been coming in record numbers for in-person support with the teachers for work completion and to get one-on-one tutoring support. Since the beginning of October, when I started tracking this, we provided an astounding, glad you're all sitting down, 530.5 hours of intervention, one-on-one individualized support to our students, as well as support with math. We've had 95% of our students come in for their district assessments and writing assessments. As you can see from our photos, students are making friends in all areas. We have hosted several art days with Carissa, one of our incredible ATP paraprofessionals. A huge shout out to Carissa for volunteering to support both the ATP and the BVA students. Our art days have included bookmark art, rock decorating, and pumpkin art. On this first page, we have interventions with our teachers. Miss Lorraine Sanchez came to do an in-person, if you can see the top second one over to the right. There's our amazing high school counselor. She did an in-person college guidance class to support our students in applying to the UC and Cal State systems. We have an example of a cross-age friendship. That's in the bottom left. That's with our Miss Jolie that I just talked about. She is mentoring and developing a wonderful relationship with a 5th grade student that she happened to meet when she came for her district assessments. Next, we have our students with a 70-pound pumpkin that came from Bates Nut Farm that was creatively and collaboratively rolled to the bus at the end of our field trip. As you can see, again, our students are engaged in so many cross-age peer relationships, and it's so sweet to see our older students mentoring our younger students. A huge shout out to Sophie Lawler-Eyre. She's one of our seniors who's donating community service hours and supporting students in interventions in reading and writing. Our ATP students, which are our adult transition students, are rocking the food cart. Some of you have seen them around the district office. A huge shout out to Mr. Kevin Quinn, our SII teacher, for having the brainchild for developing this unique workability program and opportunity for our young adults. The students push a cart to all rooms. In fact, they're cleaning me out dollar by dollar because I'm providing that money for the kids so they can also shop, which is fun. To the community center, the district office, and to the transportation department. During election week, they really cleaned up. They were able to sell items to the poll workers. And it's so heartwarming to see how excited they get and to see the students coming out of their comfort shell and zones, as well as greeting the customers, looking them in the eye, and then making change. Our BVA students are frequent shoppers, along with our teachers. There's a couple of other photos that I want to just highlight here. We've got our grounds crew over in the top right, and then there's some of our students working in person. I know this is a busy slide, and I'll go ahead and try to talk quickly without ignoring some of the cool things that are on these slides. There's another couple of ATP workability options for our students with grounds and maintenance crew as well as child nutrition services. And we've also made a connection at Major Market just right up the street and dropped off a proposal for a workability program for our students in the community as well. So our adult transition program students are really getting a lot of opportunities to showcase their talents as well as get excited about showing what they know. So the top corner, you see one of our That's Emma Ferreira in the top left, and she is our college tutor from UC San Diego that's providing our support for free for us. Then we've got our adult transition program students there, second over. We have Miss Prestwood. She's doing a wonderful math intervention online, which is a clever way to do it. We've got our amazing Miss Carissa there with one of our ATP students being creative with an art lesson. Lower left, again, we've got some more intervention support. Our students working in person. Again, Miss Prestwood providing some one-on-one support. I'm providing one-on-one support as well. And then we've got some of our students with their rock art. And our far left or far right picture, that's one of our only TK students in our program, so it's exciting to have him with us. Weekly, our ATP students are going to the Vista Library for a Monday event that's established specially for special needs adults. Our students love that opportunity to ride the bus and check out books at the county library. As you could see from the first slide, our students went up for their annual Bates Nut Farm field trip on October 3rd. It was a very warm and sunny day in Valley Center. When we went, I think it was almost 100 degrees that day. But we went with our ATP program and 20 of our BBA students and had a fantastic time. All the students while on the field trip enjoyed the hayride, the straw maze, entertaining the entertaining animals, and the informative history of the pumpkin patch from, coincidentally, a retired Bonsall Unified School instructor. She happens to lead the education program at the patch, and it was a fun connection for Ms. Bruninger to reconnect with an old peer. All right. Our final page shows a small group intervention support. Our ATP students on their first day working with Child Nutrition Services. That's our wonderful Miss Yolanda. A huge shout out to both Kirsten Orr and Miss Yolanda for coordinating the jobs for our young adults. Additionally, a huge shout out to Ms. Presswood and Ms. Bruninger for their expert intervention supports. We're so very grateful to have such a highly qualified staff and seasoned team of teachers working with our students. As you can see, we have many photos as Ms. Presswood put some of those skills to use. She's amazing with math, and she's providing that bi-monthly math intervention. And again, another huge shout out to Ms. Emma Ferreira for donating her time to BVA to provide that outstanding writing intervention support. Ms. Ferreira created all the materials, PowerPoints, and resources, in addition to truly breaking down the writing process. Again, Emma's a college student. She's studying education at UCSD and is a former Mira Costa College writing tutor and a JV soccer coach at Rancho Buena Vista. We're so very grateful for her to providing that dedicated support to our students, and we're really hoping her schedule allows to work with us in the second semester. Tomorrow we're going on another field trip. I know we take a lot of those, but it's a lot of fun for our kids. We're going to go to the Western Science Museum, and in case some of you don't know about that one, there's the largest mastodon in the Western United States over there, along with some Native American artifacts, so we're excited about that opportunity. Our upcoming events will be Thanksgiving vacation next week, while we roll into district writing assessment season in December, Christmas crafts and cookie decorating, a field trip to Silvergate for Senior Center Christmas caroling and delivering handmade Christmas cards, a family Christmas party, and first student semester awards. We're so thankful this holiday season to have outstanding teachers and the staff, with Mr. Quinn leading his fabulous paraprofessionals for our young adults in the ATP program. And we're also very blessed to have Ms. Bruninger and Ms. Presswood leading our online students to success. A huge shout out to Chris right over here for technology, Jonathan, our grounds and custodial, who got this room ready for us, and of course Ms. Ariano for the communications that she does for rounding out our fantastic BUSD Community Center team. They're showing up every day. They're believing in our students by demonstrating their actions that the students belong and our students are achieving. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Calabrese. And that brings us to our superintendent report. Dr. Heather Golly.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Ms. McInerney. I'm very pleased to be here tonight to present a Superintendent's Board Report for you. And I thought it very fitting to start with these amazing smiles of two of our wonderful students, Rourke, who you're going to see a little bit later, yes, and Lily. And I thought it was very appropriate for us to start by looking at those smiles and for us to just have a moment to reflect on the bright future that we have here in Bonsall Unified. And they really are fantastic. You'll hear about them in just a minute. For our picture of the month that I wanted to start with too, thank you, Principal Camacho, for this picture. I look at this picture and it brings me an incredible amount of joy. This is a 4th grader, Aaliyah, at Bonsall West, and from what I understand, she used her class dojo points, which she earns for being a fantastic student. She decided to use those points to spend time reading to Mrs. Stegmiller's kindergarten class. Is that accurate? Yes. And Principal Camacho in his newsletter said we might be looking at a future teacher. Gosh, I hope so, because that is a beautiful, beautiful picture right there. And I thought it was very fitting to start with that as well. I also think that what you saw there with Aaliyah and what you're going to hear about Rourke and Lily and some of our students, it's a perfect example of our theme of belong, believe, achieve here in Bonsall Unified. And you heard something about our learner profile and our outcomes from Principal Smuts. I think that what Aaliyah is doing, we could easily look at that and say, engaged community member, effective communicator, 100%. So perfect examples of that. I also, as you know, like to ground us in what we call our framework for the future. This is our North Star, and it contains not just the learner outcomes and the learner profile, but also our vision, our mission, and our values. Nani, would you read the vision for me, please?
All students in Bonsall Unified School District engage in rigorous and relevant learning experiences that inspire them to be productive community members and future-ready lifelong learners.
Excellent. That's our vision. Since Eily is not here tonight, would you also read the mission?
Yes. We empower all students to thrive in a positive, safe, and supportive environment through high-quality education focused on the whole learner.
So everything we do should be reflecting on that. That should be our North Star. That should guide our actions. That should guide our prioritization. And those values of service, innovation, collaboration, and integrity should be guiding our behavior and our interactions every day. So when we consider this framework that we have collectively developed, and we think about teaching and learning, and we think about what our model needs to look like, of course we need to also consider whether or not our facilities are matching the programs that we want to offer, the programs we are offering and the programs that we would like to see in the future. As you know, we had hopes that we would pass a school bond, and that's not looking like it happened this time. And I know that that brings a lot of disappointment, but I want to stress greatly that I have faith in our ability to pull our community together and to look at not just the teaching and learning, but also the facilities that match that, and to decide together what does a good, solid, strategic plan look like that engages the community so that maybe everyone fully understands what we're trying to do. And I am looking forward to that. And a lot of questions, I've had people, wonderful, heartwarming interactions with people, I will tell you, that have come up to me and they've said, what can we do? How can we get involved? We want to support our schools. There will be a wonderful opportunity in place for that. And we'd like to start very, very quickly. We know that our needs are great. We know that that means we're going to need to analyze where we are, and we're going to need to strategize together what a path forward looks like and what the immediate priorities, as I said. So I'm giving you here just a preview, just so that there is some understanding about what the long term might look like. And we're starting right away. In December, we'd like to bring to you a presentation on the process and timeline for community engagement so that we can start to lay out what might that look like and establish a community engagement committee. Strongly, strongly believe, I heard BTA talk about this, we must have all voices at the table. And that means that we have our teachers, we have our staff, we have our parents, we have our students, we have our community, and we come together to collaborate and to plan together so that whatever we develop, it resonates with all of us. And it's really important to have that feedback. Some topics for discussion that we are floating for now that we definitely know need to be on the table. We'd like to analyze enrollment and projections, education goals and student experience, school conditions, potential boundaries, prioritization, branding opportunities, school configurations. These are all things that we know we'll need to engage in. This is really important for a school district. So preview in December, we will be coming and giving a presentation on that. And then what we'd like to do is start to invite and see who's really interested in coming together to help with these efforts. And I'm calling out our students here because we've got a lot of students that want to have a voice as well, and we'll be hearing from them also. Now, though that is not the result that we were looking for, I do want to shift. This is in the spirit of Thanksgiving, but also just something that I firmly believe in, which is an attitude of gratitude and taking that time to really appreciate the amazing things that we are doing. This quotation resonates with me. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. I want to call out with my sincerest gratitude the incredible volunteers and team members who came together and supported what we were doing and what we do every single day. I've seen in such beautiful, steadfast commitment and dedication, and I am very, very grateful for that. I'm also grateful for a lot of the things that we are seeing in our classrooms and in our schools, and I need to call some of them out. You're probably wondering, where are all the shout-outs? Well, there's going to be quite a few of them here. I want to give some gratitude to our BUSD CNS. And yes, that is us serving. Today we had the pleasure of serving alongside our CNS workers in all of the kitchens across the district. We were serving a Thanksgiving feast, and it was a lot of fun. I only got a few of the pictures, and we had, I think, all of our admin out serving, and it was beautiful. The students really seemed to love, especially the turkey. And the cutest was one student came, he took his tray, he looked down at it, he looked at me, and he said, "This looks delicious." So I said, okay, we're doing something right. So that was beautiful. And thank you to our CNS workers because they do that every single day. Every day they are serving. I want to share some gratitude for student opportunities. We see them, so many. You heard some of them highlighted from our principals tonight, and they are more and more. They just keep coming, the incredible opportunities. This was a CSUSM field trip, as Principal Smuts said, to the American Indian Studies Department. That only happened because we have teachers and administrators who said, oh, that sounds like a wonderful idea. Let's make that happen. And I really appreciate that kind of attitude that we have with our staff that want to see these opportunities happen. I want to share gratitude for community involvement. Ms. Rodriguez already got a shout out tonight. She's going to get another one. There she is, helping with the cultural night. We had our teachers and our staff and our students putting on an incredible cultural night at BHS and SMS. We have workshops for families. The car show, you're right, it was so well attended. Some really amazing cars, so I'm really appreciative of the community involvement. I have tons of gratitude for our partnerships, and we have more and more partnerships. There are lots of opportunities for people to get involved. This is a picture of our recent NLAC meeting, which is Native Learner Advisory Committee. We have DLAC, which is for our district English learner. We have ELAC, we have PTA, PING, SSC, and as you've heard from our principals, so many opportunities for parents to get on campus and to be involved, which I'm really, really appreciative of. I have a lot of gratitude for the huge team of administrators, teacher leaders, and students who came together on October 29th to work on our learner profile implementation. It was great to hear everybody's ideas, and we're seeing a lot of it come to fruition already. So huge shout out and gratitude for that. I also have gratitude for the hands-on, joyful learning experiences that we see. I don't know how many of you got to see the literary pumpkins. Oh my goodness, really, really creative literary pumpkins. And in the upper right, I think that was called, what kind of partners? Purposeful partnerships. We've got a Thanksgiving feast down there in one of our classrooms. Lots of joy around all of our classes. And this was highlighted already, but I need to make sure I give a special shout out to our speech and debate. And we would like to have some scheduled performances where our students come and get to share. They are doing an amazing job, and last weekend, the tournament, was the first time we've gotten a trophy. And I have to just highlight, Nani, are you going to talk about this? Okay, I didn't want to step on your toes, but I have to highlight that we have a team that we brought to this tournament, And we had students placing in this tournament when they're up against schools where the entire speech and debate team at some of these schools is larger than our whole high school. So that is a huge testament to the incredible work of Mr. Hinchliff and these awesome students. And yes, I know that Jolie placed 4th, and we had placements in other categories as well. Really incredible. You heard, I think Principal James mentioned this. Huge highlight for me. November 15th, we held our first Superintendent Student Advisory Council. I had so much fun. You saw the picture of Rourke and Lily. So we had 6th graders, we had 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th. We still need an 11th grader. And it was an opportunity for students to come together, and we talked about our learner outcomes. And I asked them questions about where do they see themselves working towards these learner outcomes in class. And then they had the opportunity to share what were they most proud of at their site. It was awesome to hear. And also, what did they see as the most challenging issue facing our students today? I really look forward to bringing more of that feedback back to the board via most likely a student voice. I've already brought the feedback to our leadership team from November 15th. We met yesterday and had some really good conversations about what our students are saying. So I'm very, very excited to see that continue. And there's a picture of Nani right there. And I'm grateful, of course, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, but also just I see this throughout the entire year. We have partners and organizations that do such an incredible job of looking out for our neediest students. Love on Your Back, the drive that they are working on right now, and the number of families that they're going to be feeding over Thanksgiving is truly impressive. We're very, very grateful for that. BEF, I think, was mentioned in another one as well. If you haven't bought your holiday poinsettia, you need to do that because it's only through November 27th. But these organizations are working in partnership with us to make sure that our students' needs are met and our families' needs are met. It's a beautiful, beautiful community, and I'm really grateful to be a part of it. Now, speaking of some further recognition of the people that are doing such wonderful things in our district, I'm going to call up Alan Williams to share a special recognition.
Well, good evening. I would like to invite the PTA Executive Board of Bonsall Elementary School to come forward, please. This evening, we are proud to acknowledge their outstanding efforts. Do we have President Beth? Hi. Okay, great. Okay, no problem. And Lauren? Are you? This is Brandy. Brandy, okay. Super, please come on up. Yeah. So earlier this year, the PTA supported our staff at Bonsall Elementary School with a thoughtful back-to-school luncheon. And more recently, they hosted a much-appreciated coffee bar for the BES team. It was delightful and highly caffeinated. They really appreciated that. It's a perfect combination. And additionally, they managed the monthly Paw Shop, where students can use their Bonsall Bear Bucks to purchase items. They also organize the monthly Fun Fridays, providing ice cream for students, and celebrate perfect attendance with Otter Pops for students who deserve the refreshing award for their outstanding attendance. And we really appreciate all these things the district, as does Bonsall Elementary School. We're so grateful. We understand when schools thrive, we typically have, as we certainly do in this case, parents who support our students, staff members, administrators, and most importantly, our children. So we really are appreciative of all your work. We know there's a lot of hours and investment, and we're so, so thankful. And Bonsall Elementary is also very grateful for their outstanding communication with parents, staff, and administration. It is such an outstanding team of leaders. Please join me with a round of applause recognizing the dedication and hard work of the Bonsall Elementary PTA Executive Board. Please get a quick picture with our superintendent. Yes. All right, we could advance that slide. Oh, I have the clicker. So I'm going to ask Dr. Golly to help me with this one. We want to, thank you so much, we want to recognize some outstanding leaders. They've been very patient tonight, so we're so proud of them, but this just shows their character and who they are. I'd like to first call them up, and if you hear your name, please come up and stand on each side of me. Dr. Golly will be presenting you with a certificate, then we're going to share some things about you as well. So from Bonsall West Elementary School, we'd like to call up Amelia Jacoby. Please come on up. Along with her, we'd like to call up Rourke Robinson. Rourke, please come on up. From Vivian Banks Charter School, Fred Allen. Also, Thunderbear Sanchez. From Bonsall High School, Kaylee Pepper. Also from Bonsall High School, Lalana Bolton. From Bonsall Elementary School, Camelia Clasadante. Also from Bonsall Elementary School, Bella Flores. From Sullivan Middle School, Emma Schaefer. From Sullivan Middle School, Sophie Totovic. And from Bonsall Virtual Academy, Sophie Lawyer Air. Now the principals, when I asked them to write a narrative about each one of them, they wrote about 8 pages. So I had to do some serious editing to make sure that we were timely in sharing about them. But I do want to make some brief remarks about each one. And when I say your name, and we'll go in the same order, you can take one step forward as I share a little bit about you. So Amelia, step forward. Miss Jacoby is a perfect example of the word perseverance. A meticulous student, she has displayed the aptitude for academics, taking her time to ensure that academics comes before activities and athletics. Her desire to serve a bigger purpose than herself is one of her most admirable qualities, and it radiates to those around her. Her humble nature and can-do attitude allows her to provide a great experience for the students in lower grades. Congratulations. Next, Rourke. Rourke, if you could stand forward. That's a great big step, Rourke. Mr. Robinson is an all-American everything. In the classroom, his academic success sets a standard for his peers and a great example of his younger siblings. He's got a great example to his younger siblings. As far as extracurricular activities goes, he is on ASB yearbook, BW News, and leads small, large groups during ASB activities during his lunch recesses with little to no supervision needed. Good job, Rourke. Fred Allen. Fred, thank you, Fred. Step on forward. Fred is an incredible human being. Every day, Fred shows up to school looking for ways to make others feel better, happier, or just to make them laugh. Fred loves his family and is dedicated to his friends. Fred is a fierce friend. He loves being outside and going on adventures. Fred lights up the school, and we are so grateful for him. Congratulations, Fred. Thunderbear Sanchez. Is Thunderbear here tonight? No, he's not. Okay. Well, we're going to say something brief about him just as well, because hopefully they're watching out there. Thunderbear is a fantastic member of the 3rd grade community. He is considerate of all his students in the class. Thunderbear presents himself as a quiet and respectful leader in the classroom. He models peace and kindness for our students and exemplifies mindfulness for their entire school community. Thunderbear regularly has something thoughtful to contribute and share during class discussions or one-on-one conversation. He also demonstrates deeper thinking on interesting subjects and shows a true love for learning. Congratulations, Thunderbear. All right. Moving on to BHS, Kaylee. Kaylee, if you could take one step forward. All right, Kaylee. Kaylee Pepper is fun, responsible, and hardworking ninth grader who is part of the great things that happen at Bonsall High School. She is the current president of the Freshman Council and leads with service and a strong character. Her peers and teachers enjoy her presence because she is so fun to talk to and cares about everyone she's around. Congratulations to you. Lalana Bolton. Lalana Bolton is a wonderful ninth grade student who demonstrates to her peers the values of academic responsibility and kindness. She works hard in all her classes, gives her teacher her utmost attention, and always contributes to classroom discussions. In addition to her great academic standing, Lalana is the current vice president of the Freshman Council and has a desire to make school memorable for her peers. Lalana understands the importance of listening to others' ideas and working hard to implement the Demand On plan. Good job. Camelia from Bonita Elementary School. Camelia is such an amazing person and leader. She helps multiple teachers, students in the morning with the ambassador program. Good job for that. She is kind when no one is looking and includes everyone at all times. I'm sure you're kind when people are looking too, though, right? All right. She is respectful, responsible, and compassionate. She shines in all our 8 habits through and through. We are extremely proud of her. Good job. And Bella, if you could take one step forward for the board. Bella is a student ambassador on our Spirit Committee and has demonstrated all of the skills of leadership this year. She has been a positive example to her peers, respectful to staff, in attendance at ambassador meetings, and has done a fantastic job as a narrator as our Leader in Me assemblies. Bella is working diligently in her classes and demonstrates her leadership skills there as well. She is quick to help her peers and or adults when needed and will conduct random acts of kindness towards others. Nice job. Now up to the party at the hill, on the hill at Sullivan Middle School, we have Emma. Emma, if you would stand forward. Emma has demonstrated outstanding leadership qualities and dedication to our school community. Emma has exceptional initiative, responsibility, and a willingness to go above and beyond for the benefit of others. She is a Purple Star Ceremony student speaker on the BUSD design team and ASB student representative. Emma's positive attitude, strong work ethic, and ability to collaborate is a true testament to her leadership. Good job. Sophie, if you would stand forward, please. Okay. Oh, there is one more. Sophia, you're next. No. Sophie embodies the qualities of a true leader by inspiring her peers as the president of our ASB, leading by example and contributing positively to the Wildcat spirit, whether through her participation in the school site council, ASB, Superintendent's Advisory Council, or organizing events. Sophie has shown a commitment to making Sullivan a better place and is an inspiration to all of us. Congratulations. And Sophia, you're up. Yes. She is supporting our younger students in BVA by volunteering 1 to 2 times weekly for intervention support in reading, writing, and math. Sophie is an outstanding scholar. Sophie, not Sophia, right? I'm sorry for that. Oh, is it Sophia? Okay, it switched. Okay, so she is ahead with her studies and has taken 2 college classes and will be taking a 3rd college class next semester. That's fantastic. She is an incredibly polite, hardworking, and ambitious student with aspirations to pursue business administration. We are proud to call her a BVA student, and we're proud to call all of you BUSD students. Congratulations to you all. I think we're going to shift right over here. We're going to shift right over here. We're going to take a quick photo over here. So let's gravitate that way. And make sure you hold up your certificates. Dr. Gawley's, follow Dr. Gawley right over there, and there you go. And one more round of applause.
Thank you so much. Once again, I just need to say there are some perfect examples of how bright our future is. Really appreciative of everything that all of our staff and students are doing. Thank you, students, for being such great representatives.
Thank you. At this time, it's now the board reports, and I just want to let the audience know that we do have an intermission, board intermission for a couple of minutes after the board member reports. So if you can hang tight just a few minutes, we would appreciate it. I'm sure there'll be additional thank yous for you with your leadership for our schools. So with that, I'll turn it over to our student board representative, Nani.
Good evening. This is McInerney, Interim Superintendent Gawley, the esteemed board members and community members. So my co-liaison, Eiley, is not able to be here today due to a family emergency, but I will be speaking on behalf of both of us today. So, Principal Smuts has already shared many wonderful things that are happening at our high school, but it does not stop there. Fall break is quickly approaching for us Legionnaires, and along with it comes Thanksgiving and Native American Heritage Month. This week, ASB is hosting a thankfulness campaign called Gratitude Grows Here. ASB put together a gratitude tree where each student can write what they're thankful for on a leaf, and many students write about their friends and their family. We are also having a 3-day Spirit Week this week. Monday was Leftovers Day, where we wore mismatched clothing. Tuesday was Harvest Homies, where you would dress up with your friend in matching fall-inspired outfits. And today was Who Are You Thankful For, where you could dress up as someone you're thankful for. However, we cut our Spirit Week short for our Native American students, who will be giving a presentation on their culture and heritage tomorrow. I'm glad that BHS can be a safe place for these students to share their history and traditions. Moving on to our Bonsall High School Theater Company, in the past month, we had auditions for our winter play called The Game, and rehearsals began last Friday. The Game is a one-act morality play about life and death. The play, originally written by Louise Bryant, published in 1960, has been adapted by me and is being student-directed by Callie Morris and Kayla Lopez. We hope that many of our community members will come and see the play to help support our theater program. Moving on to sports, we'd love to express how well our winter sports have started up. We have a girls and boys basketball team this year, and the boys basketball team is playing their first game as we speak. The girls basketball team is expected to have a game when we return from our Thanksgiving break. And to brag for a moment, the Bonsall High School cheer team, Eiley and I are totally not biased as we are both members of the team. Our girls have always worked really hard to push for a cheer team, and this year we are being officially recognized as a sport. And we already have numerous chants, and we're coming up with new ones. Most importantly, we finished a whole halftime performance, choreographed by me, and of course in collaboration with the entire cheer team. In addition, we'd also like to commemorate senior Samantha Kilistiwa as she puts her blood, sweat, and tears into everything she does, including organizing and creating creative chants for our cheer team. And to add her own creative touch, she made the entire team shirts and bows this week. Even more exciting, some of our members of the cheer team will be attending the Turkey Trot at Vivian Banks Charter School this Friday. Aside from how well our sports are doing this year, we also have a strong support system for our seniors. This month, our early college coordinator, Aaron Barker, and our counselor, Lauren Sanchez, have been putting together presentations with information that our seniors need to know for college application season. This past week, our English 12 classes each had a presentation on FAFSA to give them information on how to apply for financial aid. As Eileen mentioned in the last board meeting, we are continuing to have colleges visit our school during symposium, which we can both say personally that we've learned a lot from. On top of that, Miss Erin has been doing lunch workshops with different items related to life after high school that have been particularly helpful. Both of our counselors have been working hard to support our students this year. Today, we would also like to shout out a staff member at BHS. Miss Johnson is not only one of our English and history teachers, but she's also taken up the role of being our cheer coach this year. She has done so much for us already and is working hard to get us uniforms and to ensure that we are on track. We are so lucky to have her as our coach, and she's one of the sweetest and most fun-loving people we've met. Thank you so much for everyone being here and for the continued support for our school district.
Thank you for that wonderful report, Nani. Mr. Ortega.
All right, well, what can I say? It looks like I'm going to be back bothering you guys for another 4 years. You're going to have to deal with me, and I hope I'm worthy of all the support I've received. So many people I'd like to thank. I mean, I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards or something like this, but SD Backy helped out, Jen helped out, all the teachers that came out to help the staff, the parents that came out and shook signs with everybody, and that was probably one of the best things, was seeing everybody come together when we were doing this campaigning and stuff. I mean, parents, staff, students, teachers. There was so many people out there that were helping me in my community and other communities. When we had an opportunity to be down here shaking signs, turning around and seeing all the people there, I was like, this is really cool. Really cool seeing everybody come together, which is probably why we won. So now I just want to say I hope I'm worthy of it, and everybody. And there was like a whole list of people that helped like endorse me and stuff. And I don't know if I really should try to say all the names here right now. It's going to take forever because there was like so many people that came out. But the name is, or the list is on my Facebook page. I don't know if that's easier just to do it that way rather than me spend the next 10 minutes reading off all the names of everybody that helped out. But looking forward to this. V didn't pass. There's this little story. I've often been compared to a person's father who comes up with stories and stuff and tells anecdotes about things that are going on. You could do this situation where you hit the lottery and you go and buy like this, amazing Jeep Grand Wagoneer or whatever, and it's going to have all the bells and whistles on there, of which probably 90% of the things it has on there you won't even use. But you have all this money, so you're going to get everything you want. Sometimes it could be said that if you don't have a lot of extra money and you're building everything from scratch on what you actually need, you actually appreciate everything you come up with, and you appreciate everything you come up with better, and you get the most out of everything you're trying to use. And I think that's the position we're in right now. We didn't get that bond passed, but we'll probably be looking at some other way of financing things in the future. And now we're able to focus any financing that we do get directly on what we absolutely need, as far as either for health and safety, and then for educational things. We'll hook in with the community and the teachers and the staff and the board and see where we could get funding and where we can actually use that funding the best. And sometimes I think that just brings out the best in what you're trying to do. It's like, I think I've told people before that I live in a world that's rainbows and roses, and always want to be looking on the bright side. And I'm seeing a lot of positive things that be coming out of this. So looking forward to a great 4 years. And I know this board right here that we have for the next 2-4 years, I think we're going to come up with something really awesome in the next, with this group together. So again, thanks for everybody for all the support. And looking forward to a great weekend and great holidays and stuff coming up. Have a great time, and we'll be doing some great things. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. Mr. Lapori.
Hello, everyone. First, I have a request. Can the students who have been recognized earlier stand up, please? Can their family actually stand up as well? It takes a village, so families have to be recognized, and I want to acknowledge you guys for still being in this room. We talk about community, we talk about empathy, we talk about the group effect. You could have left this room after receiving your individual accolade, but you decided not to. That just reflects on who you are as people and how much you care about being part of a group, part of a community, and how you build this up. And you build community by being engaged and by listening other people talking and not just receiving your own accolades and then leaving. So thank you so much for still being here. And once again, I want another round of applause for them, please. Thank you. Obviously, we talk about Measure V, and it's easy to be defeated and sky's falling and things like that. And I was not too sure exactly what I was going to talk about, and I always, throw some public service announcement. And I happen to have a pen that I got at a work event recently, and it's about the value of the company that we want as an engineering team. And this pen says, "Stay nimble." I think it resonates so well with everything that happens in the country, locally, what happens in our life and things like that. Stay nimble means that you stay engaged. It means that you stay flexible and adapt to the situation that's presenting out of you. I read this quote somewhere that's, life is 10% what's thrown at you and 90% how you react to it. This is really what it's about, right? Whatever happens in the community, whatever you agree with the political decision or not, or whatever you feel about it, it doesn't mean you disconnect. It doesn't mean you disappear. It doesn't mean you go under a rock and wait for things to happen. It means you keep engaged and you keep having the effect that you can on the very edge of your comfort zone. And just stay engaged. Show up. That's exactly what I want to reward here. You guys showing up. This is really what matters. If we just hide, then nothing happens. So thanks for staying engaged. There are so many things happening in the school district. It's impossible to really highlight one really things that's better than the others. Things are gonna still happening. We're gonna still do everything that we can to make things happening and provide the best that we can for everybody. And I know that everybody has the heart and the passion to keep plowing through. And this is not about the amount of money, it's about the amount of heart. And so as long as we have the heart, it doesn't matter. If the means are there, we'll figure out ways to make things happen. So let's keep showing up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lapori. Mr. Merchat.
When we came out, I thought we were going to introduce a little something that we've come to a tentative agreement that's going to remove the interim from our superintendent's
Action item number 1.
name. So I'm so excited that Ms. Golly will be staying on as our new superintendent, and all we need to do is sign the document and get that done, and I'm sure we will be able to get that done. Moving on to Measure V, it's we didn't get nearly enough votes, especially with no opposition to the ballot measure. And usually I know that when I look at ballot measures and there's no opposition, I'm usually, I'm for it. So I thought we would pass it, but unfortunately we're not. But as a board and as a community, we're going to go forward and look to utilize all the funds that we can get, whether they're from the builders or from other avenues that we can go, whether it's Prop 2, getting some of those funds. So I look forward to seeing what we can do, and I know that we'll be make things work. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Merchat. Mr. Gaddis.
You know, this whole meeting I've been a little off, and I couldn't figure out why I was off. And then I looked over and I saw Alan and Laura sitting over there, and I'm like, wait a minute. They always sit over here, not over there, and that's why I'm all messed up. You messed me up, guys. So that's the first thing I want to say. Second thing I wanted to say is Dr. Golly's slide showed the Bonsall bear. Did you guys all see that, the logo of the Bonsall bear there? It's pretty vicious now, huh? When my kids went there, it was like a little, teddy bear type thing. Now we got like this aggressive bear going there, so I kind of like that. The next thing I want to talk about is the speech and debate team. I know that people say, Bonsall when they started their speech and debate team, they started without anybody with any experience in any events, not knowing how to do any of this stuff. And now we're getting to the point where people are finaling and really pushing through. And I'm going to tell you how hard that is to do. These speech tournaments start at 7 in the morning and usually do not get over until like 10 at night, sometimes even later. It is grueling, these different rounds that they have to go through. They have to stand in front of people and be judged not only on what they say, but their eye contact and their movements. It is a grueling thing. And so for us to have, 2 finalists, I mean, at least 2 that I know of, one came in 4th and one came in 7th, is extremely impressive. And it's, I think it's a testament to the program that they've got going on over there. And so I really want to see it kind of more kids joining, more kids trying to get involved, because as I've told everyone, the one skill that you will take from high school, more than any other skill you learn, is public speaking. You're going to have to do it no matter what you do, no matter what job you get. Someday your boss is going to ask you something or to talk in front of people, and the more confident you feel that you portray yourself, the better. And I think that one thing you'll be able to tell about kids who take speech and debate in the classroom is they stand up and they talk with passion, power, and confidence. And that's what I really think that's really a wonderful trait. So, but the one thing I did also see in that picture was that we need to get them some of those info bags for their, I don't know if you saw, but she was carrying around, she had 4, when you do info, you have these big these boards that you have to carry, and most people have bags, most school districts. She was carrying all 4 of hers just around, I think we need to get them like 4 or 5 of those bags so that they can carry that around in the future. That way, I mean, if we're going to start doing this, we're going to do it right? So the last thing I want to talk about is Measure V. I'm disappointed with, I'm sure everyone else, but I think, like Pascal and Roger, kind of indicated, it's also a learning experience and a chance for us to do it better. Whatever we did, we just didn't do it well enough. And we do need facilities. We do need a lot of things at our schools. But we also need to do a better job of conveying that. And I think that's what, as a board member, I learned. And so I'm going to use this time going forward to say, okay, how can I make our needs more aware to the public, to the voting public? So that's what I'm going to do going forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gaddis. All right. In the season and the spirit of gratitude, I'd like to just shout out just how grateful I am to all of our teachers, staff, administrators, board members, parent and community members. Especially want to have an extra big shout out to those community volunteers who worked so hard and many hours on Measure V. That's a big labor of love and without any compensation or reward, especially since it didn't pass. So thank you for your commitment to the effort. Mr. Merchat noted that there was no formal opposition to Measure V, and that's true. However, there is an assembly race that impacted all of the school bonds that are in that district. So I think that's important to note. If someone were to actually take a kind of a look at which school bonds didn't pass and which assembly member was running in those areas, there's a direct correlation. And for me personally, it was easier to climb Mount Kilimanjaro than to pass the school bond in our district during 2024. So it is what it is. We are looking to move onwards and upwards. There's other opportunities, additional inspiration to find creative workarounds, perhaps, beyond just the typical funding mechanisms. Perhaps there's some philanthropists out there, Mr. Gates and Mr. Musk, we're here if you'd like to help build some new school facilities for us. If anyone knows anyone, we'll happily name some buildings and campuses with whatever name you'd like. So anyway, beyond that, I found a couple of quotes that I think resonate, especially tangentially to Measure V. Maya Angelou said that the desire to reach for the stars is ambitious, the desire to reach hearts is wise. And I think that that's a nice quote that kind of exemplifies what we do on the day-to-day in BUSD. And one of the things I was particularly excited about in reading the reports that are on our agenda from all of the different school sites and from our district office staff, I was really excited to read in the Educational Services report that we have a addition to our early college program, specifically in the one of the classes that will now be offered at Palomar that is actually through one of our own teachers. So Ms. Margaret Armijo has created a new course that is called Introduction to Law. And so that's now a Palomar class, although she's actually a Bonsall High School teacher. So that's pretty darn cool, and I'm pretty excited to see that. And then just want to leave with a closing quote by G.K. Chesterton, a famous author, that education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another. So facilities aside, we have a lot of wonderful things that are done on the daily, throughout, from our TK through our 12th grades, and all of our wonderful staff that's here. And, Bonsall Unified School District is going to be here long after we're all not. But the legacy lives on from what's done in the classrooms on a day-to-day basis. So thank you to everyone for what you do, and appreciate you. And we're going to take a very quick recess at 7:29 right now. We'll resume at 7:35. Thank you. All right, it's 7:36. If everyone can kind of make their way back to the seats. We also have public comment today, which is going to take at least 20 minutes, and a little bit of additional closed session afterwards. All right, we'll get going with the second half of our meeting. Thank you to everyone who's still here for the heavier business items on the agenda. We're at agenda number 8, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, bringing us to our information item. So we have a BHS Symposium Update and Vision, and that's a presentation today, isn't it? Awesome. Looking forward to it. Mr. Van Hooser.
Good evening, Board. Future Permanent Superintendent, Dr. Golly, Ms. McInerney. Okay, there we go. So thank you for having me here this evening. I'm here to present an update on our BHS Symposium program and a little bit of our vision for the future. We're gonna quickly kind of run through 4 different items. I'll introduce Symposium. I'll talk a little bit about how Symposium is developed, where we're at right now, and like I mentioned, our future vision. So I'll start with our introduction here. Oops. There we go. So in thinking about Symposium, really I come back to this question, and it kind of frames the work that I'm doing this year, is how can we target skills and information that students need in order to be successful after high school? And so everything that I'm putting together with the help of the many people that I'm working with is framed around making sure that our students are successful after they leave us. So in terms of our purpose, what we aim to do is really focusing on 3 categories. So we're looking at college and career exploration, so helping our students understand and build out post-secondary options, right? They might not want to go to college right now, but things change. They might decide otherwise. They might have plans to go to a 4-year university and something happens, and we want to make sure that they have those options to attend Palomar and then transfer, or take a look at potentially military options or trade schools or what have you. So we want to give them the opportunity to explore career interests, educational pathways. We also want to make sure they have the life and workplace skills that are necessary to succeed once they leave us. So being able to set goals, manage stress, plan for their financial future, some practical skills like resume building, email etiquette, being able to self-reflect on their own progress, what they're doing well, what they need to do better on. And then, of course, community building, which helps us as a school, right, our school culture, but the community that they want to build out in whatever community they end up in, whether that's their college community or their local community. So we want to make sure that they are learning proper digital citizenship, speaking and listening skills, and, of course, actually getting out and doing some community service work. So a little bit about how Symposium's developed. We've had a number of iterations over the time that I've been at Bonsall High School. It started out as a kind of a traditional advisory room. Our class was kind of an open-ended homeroom for academic support, culture building, some college and career exploration. It morphed into industry cohorts where each class was based on a different type of industry. I myself did a tech class. I know we had a nursing class, an education class. That then turned into a C day where we had our block schedule of A day, B day, and then C day was that shorter day where each student rotated through a 4-period day in a various number of different academic support classes. I taught a portfolio class. I know we had a college and career exploration class. We had a guest speaker class. And then we eventually moved into having AVID. We did that for about 3 years. It was an elective course. Initially, all 9th graders took it. We built it out into 10th. We had a 12th grade AVID as well. And then in 2022-23, we began what we know now as Symposium. So this is grade level courses. So you have Symposium 9, 10, 11, 12. And you would have grade level leads that push out plans to each grade level team. At this time, or that time, I was the 9th grade lead, so I pushed out curriculum and support to the other 9th grade teachers. It was much more structured than it was in the past, where there wasn't a whole lot of direction in what to do and how to do it. There was a little bit more there. But we did suffer from some inconsistency in terms of from grade level to grade level within grade levels. But then we were able to begin introducing some recurring school-wide activities. Every other week, students do organization checks. So they're looking at their grades, they're looking at their Google Drive, making sure that they're staying organized. We do school-wide readings every 2 weeks to help build out reading literacy. Yeah, there we go, school-wide readings and organization checks. And Symposium generally, as I mentioned before, is themed around preparing students for college and career. So where are we at now? What am I doing? Why am I here? So what I do as the Symposium coordinator, and this is kind of half of it, is I push out, so I create a calendar, a year-long calendar for each grade level. So here you'll just see 9th and 10th. And then from there, I'll push out the curriculum to each of those teachers within those grade levels. And so I create their agendas and put the Canvas assignments together. So all the teacher has to do is really read the update, the weekly update that I send out, and then hopefully just teach it, right? And I try to pop into all the classes, check how things are going, elicit feedback. Is it actually working? Am I doing a good job? And they'll give me feedback on how I can improve on some of those things. It's not just me, though. I work with a lot of people. Obviously, all of the teachers that I check in with and I meet with daily, in short spurts. But I work pretty closely with our counselor on special assignment, Erin Barker. She helps me provide the overall framework. I work pretty closely with Lauren Sanchez, our counselor, to help organize the college visits, the college presentations. As I think Nani mentioned earlier, Miss Lauren was in our senior classes, our senior English classes, presenting about FAFSA. She's going to do another FAFSA launch presentation on Monday when we get back. And then we're going to do some FAFSA work within 12th grade Symposium. I've been working with Brianna Mendez, our school psych intern, to put together some stress management activities for the end of the semester, specifically for our 11th graders, but some of that stuff will bleed into 9th, 10th, and 12th as well. And I'm really looking forward to collaborating with our other half-time TOSA that was just hired, that I believe will be starting in that new capacity at the beginning of second semester. Another thing that I've been working on is vertically aligning all of this content. Part of the inconsistency that I mentioned was we had some overlap between what 9th grade was doing, and then the 10th graders would say, oh, well, we did this last year, and the 11th grade, same thing, right? So in this example that I've put together, specifically it's about college preparation. So in 9th grade, we do some general college research. In 10th grade, they start looking at all of the different post-secondary pathways. And in fact, today, 10th grade just wrapped up an apprenticeship fair simulation where our two 10th grade classes visited each other, and each class had trade booths. So each group represented a different trade. So plumbing, culinary arts, metalworking, etc. And so each group presented and then got to learn from other groups about the different apprenticeship opportunities that are out there. Then in 11th grade, they're going to focus on putting together college lists and exploring specializations for students who say, well, I don't really want to go to college. They have the option of looking at a career as a larger piece and then figuring out, well, if I want to be a nurse, there's really like 20 different types of nursing. So figuring out what sort of specializations. In the college perspective, that would be something like majors, right? And then in 12th grade, they get time to actually write those applications, fill them out, send them into colleges. We're going to be starting with the FAFSA here when we get back from break, and really making sure that they're prepared for the pathway that they've chosen to take after high school. We also have a CAI grant that Miss Erin is
the word I'm looking for? Orchestrating, I guess. There we go. Thank you. Spearheading. And so this is in collaboration with the BEHA group, and Ms. Aaron and I actually met with them today to talk about the pre-apprenticeship program that they are working with us on. So all of our 10th and 11th grade students this year are going to go through the pre-apprenticeship program. They're going to get a certificate saying that they've completed that program and will be eligible for apprenticeships through the BEHA group. The BEHA group's going to come in this March and do 6 sessions about workplace communication, job readiness, financial literacy, and that will be an ongoing program that for now is 10th and 11th, but we'll be adding each additional 10th grade class. So each class going forward will have access to this program. And like I mentioned at the bottom there, apprenticeships will be awarded to students at the end of the year, which are actually paid apprenticeships. So it's a pretty great opportunity. We do still have some action items and questions that we need to figure out and that we're actively working on. The first is remediation, right? How can we effectively use Symposium, those classes, to provide remediation to students who are missing out on, did I say college and career readiness? Excuse me. But maybe missing out on some of their core content. They're struggling in a math class or an English class. How do we provide remediation to those students, especially if they're in a Symposium course? On the same side, we do have students that are taking a content class during Symposiums. We have leadership, we have Spanish 2, we have Foundations of Law, thank you. So how can we make sure that those students are accessing some of that college and career readiness, but still being able to access those courses? And then lastly, we want to make sure that we're balancing pathways. Students today are not just looking at going to a four-year school. We want to make sure that we are showing them that yes, a four-year school has much more potential for higher earnings, but it's not the path for everyone, right? There's the two-year path, there's the trade path, the apprenticeship path. We want the military path. We want to make sure that those are all explored for the students. Excuse me. So where are we going? What is our future vision? There's three points that I want to highlight in terms of what we have planned. We have plans for presentations of learning through Symposium, and the students will create and maintain a student portfolio to display and present their learning across their entire high school career. So it's something that they'll build on from their freshman year through their senior year. It should include yearly goals and reflections, community service updates, student work in particular, and I've got our picture of our learner outcomes here, but student work related specifically to each of those outcomes. Again, this is something that we're still building out, and part of that last piece is making sure that our teachers are also providing our students to complete work and have presentations of learning that can actually exhibit all of those outcomes. I want to make sure that Symposium takes the student-centered approach that our whole student-centered initiative is really spearheading. So in that, I want to make sure that I'm designing or maybe going back and redesigning some of our current curriculum to put students at the center of our learning. I want to make sure that we're increasing inquiry-based learning, that students are actually asking the questions and then answering those questions rather than us providing everything for them. I want to make sure that we're facilitating collaboration and building those communication skills between students, between the professionals that they'll be working with, building more resilient learners so they can solve their own problems instead of just saying, well, I can't do it, I don't know what to do. And then providing opportunities for teachers to practice some of those student-centered activities that they might not be maybe comfortable with yet or know about yet in their own classes. So I try to make sure that I'm pushing as many of those into other classes. In fact, the 11th graders are wrapping up a career interest game that's called Life Happens. They're creating a board game where they had to research a number of careers as part of it. They had to look at what sort of life events might happen to a person that would cause them to change a career. A lot of our students come into their senior year saying either I have no idea what I want to do or I'm 100% sure what I want to do, not recognizing that there's a whole gray area in the middle that anything can happen. And then we look at we look at skills as well in terms of what skills are transferable across careers. So they had to do all of that research, figure out what could work, and they're creating their own board game, similar to the game of life. And then lastly, I want to highlight that we plan to include more field trips, more college trips taking students actually to some of these colleges, continuing our college visits where colleges come to us and present to students either virtually or preferably in person, and then providing our students with work-based learning opportunities where they can go into local businesses, interact with those professionals, and learn directly from them. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Van Hooser. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I just have a quick feedback. One of the things that matters is the marketability of college degrees. And this is something that needs to be integrated, because picking up a career is great, but you need to figure out, can you market it? And one good example is 5 years ago, computer science, a bachelor in computer science was the hoopla. You had a bachelor in computer science, and you were guaranteed to have start with the six-figure salaries and stuff like that. 5 years later, this boom is gone, meaning that people who look for a generic bachelor in computer science might get pretty disappointed to see that the market is saturated and things like. So I really encourage to make sure that marketability of the degree and where the market is in terms of trends and direction be integrated in those feedbacks, so that way it helps people who might be on the fence between one or the other to say, well, I have more opportunities in my future if I pick this way than this other way.
Thank you. All right, and that takes us to our action items. And as we had a little bit of a sneak commentary during the board reports, as well as indicated earlier in the readout from closed session, the board evaluated Dr. Ghali in the role of interim superintendent and has unanimously agreed to remove the title of interim from the position. And on behalf of the Bonsall Unified School District, I am proud to announce the board selection of Dr. Heather Ghali as superintendent of the Bonsall Unified School District. So during closed session, the terms of the superintendent's contract were reached, and these terms will be memorialized in an updated contract and published on the district's website in compliance with educational code. And to formalize this action, I will call for a roll call to vote to approve the superintendent contract with Dr. Ghali. So starting with Mr. Ortega.
Eric Ortega, aye.
Pascal Lapoire, a resounding aye.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And Larissa Anderson, 100% yes. So. And so on behalf of the board, congratulations to the new Bonsall Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. Heather Ghali.
Just want to say thank you for your faith and thank you for your support, and for everybody that's here and for everybody that has been so incredibly supportive. I really appreciate it, and I really am serious about the bright future. We've got a lot of work to do, and I am in for it and very excited. So thank you. Thank you.
So I believe in Bonsall Unified School District, and I believe in Dr. Heather Ghali, and I believe we've got a few more action items to get through so that closed session can resume. So it brings us to action item 10.2, approval of the Bonsall Unified School District annual and 5-year developer fee reports for fiscal year 2023-24.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bringing us to action item 10.3, approval of the 2024-25 consolidated application for funding for Title 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. bringing us to action item 10.4, the resolution 24-11-03, designating persons to prepare and submit documents pertaining to federal impact aid under PL 874.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bringing us to action item 10.5, the memorandum of understanding between Bonsall Unified School District and CSEA for classified supervision duty.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bringing us to action item 10.6, resolution number 24-11-01, ATI and Bonsall Unified School District for emergency restoration services at Bonsall Elementary School.
I have some questions on that, and I brought them up earlier. Were you able to get any answers on it? The questions I had, just the board, was that if you look at the receipts, they're not professionally done. They're just says, pay me $300,000, pay me $600,000. They don't say, hey, we removed 10,000 square feet of wallboard, we removed insulation, we put, they should be telling us what they did, how many hours they put in, at what hourly rate. I know you were going to look into what the insurance company wanted, and are they getting a readout that's more?
Yes, yes, and I spoke with our executive director about that, and it's true what you thought, is that the more detailed descriptions are with JPA right now, but we need to have that formally approved. Laura?
Okay, and the insurance company took a look at these, and they're acceptable to the insurance company that's going to be? Yeah. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Motion to approve?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bringing us to a similar resolution for action item 7, resolution number 24-11-02, night commercial services and Bonsall Unified School District for emergency build-back services at Bonsall Elementary School.
It's the same. So motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bringing us to action item 8, the architectural services fee proposal with MGPA Architecture for Sullivan Middle School kitchen reconfiguration.
Motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Action item 9, Public Works contract with Crown Fence Company to install additional guardrail at the new pedestrian pathway at Bonsall Elementary School.
Where exactly is this going to be? I mean, this new rail?
So that's the guardrail around the walkway that we built, and we need to build out more safety features there. Is that accurate, Ms. Castro? Right? Mhm.
Motion to approve.
Well, I have another question. Where does that need come from, and why? It seems like we retrofit that ramp every 6 months. Are we going to have in another 6 months another retrofit of some kind, or are we done? Was that missed before that we need the new ramp? It feels like a bit of a repetitive type of motion.
Mm-hmm.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bringing us to action item 10.10. This is to amend the professional services agreement with DLR Group for architectural services as required for feasibility study. I'm wondering, is this something that we should potentially be pushing, given where we're at with Measure V?
I think that this one was the funds had already been allocated, and they're the group that are helping with the larger feasibility study and the engagement that we're going to be having in order to determine our strategic plan and facilities management moving forward. So I think it's just an extension of the time.
I was just saying, I misspoke. My question was actually for the next agenda item, number 11. So I'm going to rescind that. Back to agenda 10, amend the professional services agreement DLR group for architectural services as required for feasibility study. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us then to the action item for which I have the question, which is, this is the soil testing at the Citro.
Yes.
Out of the term that the prior contract was approved, so it's only like $600 to close out, complete this project.
So this is from work performed already?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's outstanding invoice that we need to pay, but in order to pay, we need to have an active contract because that one has been expired. Those $600 though were part of the prior approval amount, the total amount, so it's not exceeding that amount that was previously approved. It's just the time is out of that term that was approved previously.
All right, thank you for the clarification. So this is the action item 10.11, amend the professional services agreement with construction testing and engineering, CTE, now universal engineering services for geotechnical and soils materials inspection services required for the potential Citro property acquisition. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, bringing us to our last agenda item for the evening, which is number 12, amendment to the master contracts between the Bonsall Unified School District and Amergis Healthcare Staffing and New Direction Solutions LLC DBA ProCare for the 24-25 school year.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to the public comment section of our meeting, and I will turn it over to the clerk.
Public comment. The Bonsall Unified School District Board of Trustees welcomes participation at the district school board meetings. If you wish to address an item on the agenda, you must complete this form and deliver it to the executive assistant prior to the board considering the item. If you wish to address the board considering matters within the board's subject matter jurisdiction that are not on the agenda, you must complete this form and deliver it to the executive assistant prior to the public comment section of the agenda. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time of public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. It is requested that speakers address the board from the podium when addressing the board. Our first speaker is John Jones. Okay. Our next speaker is Amanda Maldonado. Okay. Lindsay Jones.
Good evening. Good evening, board. I'm standing here today to encourage the board to hear and understand and act on some of the very important issues that our community is facing. I ran for office against Eric Ortega for many reasons, and I'm not here tonight to complain or play victim. Tonight I just offer a charge. First, I want to mention a few significant points that will hopefully grant me the privilege of inspiring action among the board. I hope that you hear my concerns as a member of the community, not as a troublemaker, as I've been called. I ran against Eric Ortega for the board, and I ran my entire campaign by myself. It was me who wrote speeches. It was me who got endorsements. It was me who organized community members and fundraised. I wrote my own statement. I wrote newspaper articles, and I wrote my own social media posts. I made my own website, and I scheduled speaking engagements, and through the hard work and determination of a mother in your district and also a teacher, the campaign came very, very close to winning. I want you to know what I was up against. I was up against the most powerful union in the state. The teachers' union is a machine of its own, and they are very political. The Bonsall Teachers Association is no different. My opponent was completely supported by this political establishment. In fact, members of the union and former members wrote his social media and went door to door and organized his entire campaign for him. He was also supported by the very influential and active Democrat Party in Fallbrook, as well as the tribe at Paula. I was not afforded the same big political special interest groups. I ran as a concerned mom. I wasn't. I did it all on my own. With conservative values, is my message divisive? Maybe it might be. However, I can honestly say that all of my efforts were done because of my hard work ethic and ability to build and engage the community. I didn't spew personal attacks. I didn't try to silence my opponent. In fact, I called my opponent multiple times, and I respect him, and I will continue to say that. I cannot say the same for what happened to me. My opponent let me know that he was aware that his campaign was run by the hatred of the teachers towards me. My posts were attacked. My supporters received messages that were disparaging from the union, and in spite of all that I was up against, I still received a healthy number of votes. I say this because Bonsall is in peril, and I hope that because of the votes I received, you will take what I have to say seriously. Our district is failing to provide proper customer service to the community. As I campaigned, my concerns were validated. Our SPED services are a laughingstock in North County. I sat at a Nixie meeting where 3 of the parents that were there were former Bonsall Unified School District parents who received very lackluster SPED services and had very terrible situations in court. There are families who have moved out of our district. My daughter's 504 has been extremely mishandled illegally. As a type 1 diabetic, she was given food without insulin, which could kill her. She wasn't given insulin because the nurse was servicing Maddie over at Bonsall West. This put her life in danger at school. Our school nurse is underpaid and unsupported. We have a serious staffing issue when it comes to life-saving supports for children who deserve an adequate and serious staffing issue, adequate and equitable education from our school district. In fact, National Diabetes Days was completely ignored by Bonsall Unified and was honored by Fallbrook High School as well as my own school. Instead of looking inward, the district continues to hide information, lie about what they have done, and silence parents. I've been called names and bullied for speaking up on important issues, such as personal choice for masking years ago, to now tampons in the kindergarten boys' bathroom. By the way, parents were never told about that directly. As a teacher myself, I've never experienced an educational establishment that berates parents as badly as Bonsall School does. As a community, it feels more like if you are a concerned parent with a problem, the district considers you a problem rather than lend a compassionate and listening ear. And that's concerning to me as a teacher. I've never talked to parents the way that the teachers that lead up the union have talked about me and to me. I know there are a lot of super awesome teachers that I've worked in their classroom. Actually, I was at the back to school lunch, and I am every year. Sorry. I always try to come to the table with compassion. It is the parents' kids, after all, that as a teacher I service. I was astonished to not only have my name dragged through the mud again, but threatened with lawsuits, recalls, and teachers quitting. The very nature of the union is something that I was prepared for when I ran for the board, but the board needs to understand that how concerning the posturing of anger the union has taken creates mistrust between parents and teachers, and it's really unfortunate for our community. Measure V did not pass for many reasons. First, we are in a recession as a county. Many people are struggling to pay their bills. Without a lot of transparency or forethought, Measure V was placed on the ballot. No local group or community helped to finance Measure V. $40,000 was raised, but only big construction companies and one dark money pack from Arizona gave money to the campaign. In Vista and Fallbrook, their bonds were laid out and itemized. Everything was on. Thank you. Seemeyer. What about Nikki? Nikki. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, board. Only big construction companies and one dark money pack from Arizona gave money. And Vista and Fallbrook, their bonds were laid out and itemized. You knew exactly where the money was going, just like Roger was talking about tonight. We didn't. Our community had no idea what the heck for the plan for the bond was. Even the president of the board seemed to be a little bit confused. And as far as after having long conversations and trying to understand the much needed bond, I realized quickly that this board had no plan financially of what to do if the bond didn't pass, or even what to do if it did. In my opinion, this board would benefit to reimagine the high school. In 2014, all parents were promised that if we wanted to send our kids to Fallbrook High, that we could with no problems. That is not the case now. Bonsall High has the ability to be such a cool school choice for kids. With arts, tech, and athletics, it could be hone in on specific needs. Not all Fallbrook families or Bonsall families want their kids to go to Bonsall High School. It will never be a big school. We have such a small population of high school students in Bonsall, and it would be great if the board and the superintendent would be more realistic about it. An additional plan I would love to see for this board to fight for is to build a coalition of boards throughout California to lobby the state to get better funding options for fixing and updating facilities, which is something I was in the beginning stages of doing. Another thing I would be looking into is writing grants for facilities. Finally, I was looking at talking to real estate agents to discuss leasing some of the land on GERD to bring in a much needed income. And I would have a long, hard talk with Roger Murchat, who seems to only be on this board to protect GERD, and to finally get a plan to get a school built on GERD. If I were elected, I would have looked at leasing some of that land, and that would generate much needed income, and then build a small technical high school on the rest of the land on GERD that we've owned and has been planned to build a high school for many years. Which, by the way, this education in San Diego board wants to take that land and build it a school anyway. There needs to be a change, and it shouldn't come at the expense of the elementary school children who would be shoved onto the Sullivan Middle School campus. Our school district has a history of mismanagement funds, non-transparency, inaction, and inability to effectively communicate. After speaking with past lawyers, superintendents, and looking through records, it's clear that the finances are a real issue with our district. In 2020, our district's reserves were below 30%, and now that with a healthy 22% reserve, it's looking to fall all the way to 9% at the end of the year, and the board is not quite prepared for the $2 billion deficit that California faces thanks to our governor. I urge Eric to please consider being more active with these things. Sometimes it's frustrating to look at old videos of board meetings and hear statements like, I don't know a lot about that, I will vote how you guys do. I say that respectfully, Eric. One of the things I would have gotten done when I got elected would be to do extensive research about issues and reach out to the community to get a pulse on what is needed. Thank you very much.
Is Tara here? Oh, she had to go. Brandy Castillo?
Hello, board. I'm here today as a mom, not a PTA member, nothing like that. I've been in this community for 13 years, actually 14 years. I have 6 kids in the Bonsall Unified School District. My biggest concern, and I'm hoping, Dr. Ghali, with you being here now, there could be changes on the SPED department. There needs to be more programs. The school needs to be a little bit more transparent. During the beginning of this year, I was informed, as many of the 5th and 4th grade teacher families, that Mr. Gora was no longer working at the elementary. We were uninformed on what was going on, and how we found out was our children. I had sent an email requesting a new case manager, Mr. Garhart, which I have worked with for his first year last year. My request was denied and was not answered specifically, but a mass email went out to the 4th grade and 5th grade families because families were questioning what was going on and why we were not getting any answers. I'm only coming here to say that there needs to be a little bit more transparency, more programs for the SPED department, and that the kids are not left behind. Our goal, your guys' goals, are all and always supposed to be to make sure that they achieve and whatnot. So, with that also being said, my other biggest concern again is Dawn Dooley. I know she was hired to be a counselor, but as currently she is a case manager, my son's case manager. She cannot be both because she has not been participating in my son's academic plan since I had a meeting back in October. This can and this will affect all 4th grade and 5th grade students, and I hope and I have requested an estimated time if you guys are looking into hiring a new case manager for 4th grade and 5th grade team, especially for 5th grade, as it is a new transitional period of time for them to go to Sullivan. So I hope you guys listen as a mom coming here for 13 years. Thank you.
Sorry. Our last speaker is Commander Joe.
What a meeting tonight. I've got about 5 bullets, but I want to compliment the board and all for the flyers. Well-timed and extremely, extremely well done. So that is fantastic, and I'm going to keep talking when I'm going back, and I guess I left my other thing right here, that I want to continue emphasizing the tremendous support to the community by this board. This board are members of the Bonsall Community Sponsor Group, reaching out to people, the people that are in Bonsall, that are in Fallbrook, that are in Vista. Number 2, the Bonsall Rotary with the Rainbow Municipal Water District head there. Our new superintendent is going there, reaching out in the Rotary, in the Bonsall Community Sponsor Group. Number 3, this lady right here, the lady in red, is the Bonsall Women's Club, reaching out there again, influencing people. Number 4, the Bonsall Chamber of Commerce in that area. So keep that up. And I want to just read from here. This is the newsletter from Rainbow Municipal Water District, September 2024. And it's written by the Rainbow Municipal Water District Director, Wiley, W-I-L-E-Y. And he says, "We appreciate the support from Congressman Darrell Ice's office and Jim Desmond's office." Okay, that's fine, but as well as the community participants. They listed 4, but number 1 was Bonsall Unified School District. Number 2, North County Fire District. Number 3, the Bonsall Chamber. And number 4, local businesses who were impacted by the construction of the project, said Wiley. That's it. That goes to everybody that's got water. And maybe it's easy to glance over, but it's only 2 pages every month. So that's a tremendous compliment that this school district was mentioned number 1 on his list. Not just down there, number 1 on the list. So that's tremendous that you keep that involvement, because you're going to keep winning over people. Our district, just like Fallbrook, is a very conservative district. It's very, very difficult. They're not tending to be on the Democrat side. So as a generality, Republicans are great in certain areas. Democrats are great in certain areas. But I think the Democrats are really great in education areas. And that's just my own personal belief. Okay, number 1 bullet. Student Legion. Fantastic job, always. And also this lady here from the Labor Report, Janet, right here in so many areas. Fantastic. Number 2 bullet item, the elections. Eric Ortega, 54.4%. This is in today's update. Lindsey Jones, 45.6. Well-run campaign, tough, and you've got some points, because I agree very much with the Bonsall High School going on Gerd Road. That needs to be done. But be done 50 years from now, maybe 100 years from now, but it needs to be done. It's a perfect location, great to get out by the fire, all of that. It's great. I'd love to have it next to our home, just down the road here, and have that. So Lindsay, 45.6. That's today's update. Now V, the Bonsall battle. Yes, 47%. No, 53%. Now, how about the BB, Fallbrook? Okay, no, I'm gonna have to end it. Fallbrook, 48%. No, 52%. Okay, I didn't do so well on my timing there, but
Thank you, Commander
we'll do
Joe.
that next. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, thank you, everybody, for staying till the very bitter end of the meeting, where we're going to finish up with the planning. Next meeting is December, and December is not only our regular closed session that starts at 4:30, but we have our annual organizational meeting. So we have two items for planning. One is that organizational meeting will be starting at 4 p.m. in order to designate the calendar and the leadership for moving into the 2025. And that will be on December 18th, Wednesday. So starting at 4 p.m. instead of 4:30. And with that, we shall adjourn at 8:22. And the board is going to reconvene in closed session for a couple more items.